Yeah, guess that'll do. And this one. This should stay good. No. Hey. All right. I'll stay like that. Rod. Hello, Rod. Can't say I know your name. So if you've seen my videos before, I just lowered my ears, shaved off my beard. It's 40 degrees plus for the next here on out for the most part. So cut my hair. I resell physical media. I'm putting it away. Started doing some of these lives like this where I just put away a chunk of media. And then when I'm done with this disc media stuff, I will take all this to the kitchen or to the dining room. So I have this phone right here, which is chat. We have Brad. Some of these names I don't. If I did, you may have made a comment in the video or something. But if you're just somebody obviously got my name correct, so um, cool. So I'm going to best guess it's either you know me directly from somewhere else or that was a heck of a guess. And you spelled it correctly. Good job. Um, so I'm just going to put this stuff away. Then I have a small stack of books. I want to kind of gauge on how much I have here, which is not really a whole lot in comparison, but I'll probably be streaming for like an hour, maybe, depending. But I also want to get the disc media that has already sold out of here. So I know I have that room. Huh. Yeah, I can't say that I remember saying your name. I am good with context, but names not so much. Like you may be entertained every once in a while. I want to start singing off key, which is the fun part. Because to me, no, I still don't sound good. But there's not much of any disc media really. Yes, DVDs. I got plenty of room in DVD boxes, and the CDs will probably all fit in one box. but I can see what I have open. I forget where I was going with. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. So I really don't need to. Uh, um, so your first part, you started with clothes, and then YouTube suggested my quirky self to you. And you're like, oh, let's hear what this guy has to say. And you're like, oh shit, I see that stuff all the time. I'm gonna start buying it. Well, you're welcome, and thank you. That's kind of what I mean, like I said, I think in my last live, I didn't want to make a YouTube. I really didn't. And it started to dawn on me a little more. Like, you know what? After a certain dollar amount point, I'll go ahead and make one. So when I made it in 24, December 24, I was on pace for 100K. And I think that year was still like 88K or something. And 60% of it was media. But last year was 106 or something, 106K. So I was like, you know, if I know that this stuff, it's not really the frequency. It's if you can get out and about wherever and just on random stops, if you're a hobby seller, even just pull out your phone, even if you're in a estate sale, just grab stuff that looks interesting, go find a corner, go find a chair, sit down and start scanning. If that's your avenue, usually at like an estate sale or something, you're just like, I'll just take it all for 20 bucks. But that was the point of it, was to just let other people know. It's like, man, this stuff is out there. And mostly ever all the other stuff I sold throughout the decades was never media. And I was always trying to find that really good type of category to that I knew there was plenty of everything but media. And then I started watching My Born Reseller Life. I was like, oh man, there's tapes and CDs and DVD. There's all this stuff all over, all over. And then I started expanding my distances to stores. And here I am, and here you are. So sometime in whichever future, you could be like, yeah, man, I remember watching Derek. Just as I just said, I started watching James. That's what we're here for. Most of us, most recently, that's what we're here for, is to help others. I don't know why I'm still looking in that. Like I was going to pull that one, but actually, there's been some pretty good sales. There's two $30 CDs, you know, for yeah, tomorrow's video. And so I do like to share the information and my thinking, to be easiest said. My thinking is like, why did I buy this? Well, because it came up on scan, but there's other things. Uh, yes, I did. Not Brad, Brandon. No, no. Um, Brandon. I did the resurfacing earlier, so I have a stack, and I have a stack, and I had a handful of like those classicals that were 3 and 4 discs per each set, you know, like this. They didn't get listed today; they just got done. But I have 5 of these in pretty much each of, so we're looking at 16, 15 plus CDs right there, plus the other 30 I had. So that needed done, so that stack wasn't there, and now I have that extra chunk amount. And then I've said for the past couple of days that I wanted to get this stuff done, and I'm going to take the tripod in the Halo into the dining room where my books are. I need to get out of this. I need to stop getting interrupted. Just look one way, and you'll never know what's beside you. Active. Yeah, so the weather, I mean, you're not too well, you are, you know, likewise quite a ways from here, but You know that I'm sure you've looked at the Brandon. I'm sure you've looked at the forecast and we're like, yeah, it's getting warmer. So that's usually when I'll cut my hair when it's like a good week is going to be 40 plus. And I think there's a day, I want to say Wednesday, it's supposed to be 60 degrees. And one of those really nice days, I'm going to get out to the garage and carport out here and drag a bunch of this stuff in and start going through some of that so I can store more stuff out there more neatly. Because there's a lot of things, not a lot of listings, but some listings that are out there that just they need to be gone through. And just other miscellaneous stuff and stuff in here that can be stored out there so I can accommodate these shelves because spring and summer um, are not cold, are not single digit days. So I will for sure be out and about. And if I keep my pace, I need to be able to have that space. So vintage is in C24. So on live stream, there's a little comment scroll that'll pop up over here, then it disappears. Here's where I have to read it. So that way I can pay attention either which way I'm looking. I'm looking beside me this time. I can see that stuff. Can get one in here. Well, I could probably get more than that. What is next in line? Oh. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to go here to filters, categories, all categories. And as I start getting rid of more of this oddball stuff, I will less scrolling for the categories. So most of all these right here are CDs, and some of them are some of the actual classical lot or classical sets that I got that were already good enough for me to list. There was a half of them needed resurfaced. So I'm just going to find anything that doesn't have a number on it. And that one, C29. Yeah, Brandon, where you're at, oh, you know it's been cold. Modern musical. So this is an interesting one. So this is actually like you would get this with a book, and you learn how to play. That's not really the piccolo, the tonette, and the flutophone, or like a clarinet, or a recorder. I guess it's like a clarinet, just not as good, not as fancy. But the only thing that I found, and I think there was one disc that did sell. It wasn't much. It was like $1.19 plus 14 cents shipping or something stupid like that. I'm like, what? All right. But I have the only, so if somebody wants a disc of this, which there's no views on it yet, but it's just one of those media things, and you see like somebody is going to want that. C29. Submit. And that is why I buy that kind of stuff. For the dollar I pay, and eventually it'll sell for 15 bucks, whatever the prices I have on it. It's actually 35 because there's no one else out there. And then, in 6 months, I'll eventually sell for $28. Wouldn't have if I didn't buy it. It's all that oddball stuff like that. Those are good. put one right there. Alabama. Alabama has 3 views. It's an $11 CD, but it has 3 views. C32. That one's good. Actually, Brandon, if you're still here, you just mentioned something about the gold discs. Let me find this. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. Okay. I hear a tone that's similar to that song. Escape from reality. All right, so this is, if I spin it like this, this is the Puto Mayo World Music French Cafe. So up here, it's, oh, that's probably why that's all in French down here. But that's in Mandarin or Chinese or whichever it is. It's not, I did look it up a little more, but these are gold discs. Mint. Right, so this would have been $1. And SRC, there's no booklet, so I'm limited on the information that I have about it. But it's just one of those, it's a gold, I don't know, it could be 20, 30 bucks, it could be 10. But it's a pretty cool looking gold disc of Putu Putu Mayo World Music. Yeah, I'm not saying made in whichever country. So I believe, just by the barcode and stuff that's on it, I believe it's a U.S. made, U.S. pressed Chinese writing in the French songs. I believe so. Because it all says like the laws and all that stuff down here, prohibited by law, and all this, that's all United States law. Yeah. I mean, paid $1 and I sold like one of these new, not gold. And I don't think it was a French cafe, but it was a Putumayo. It was only like 10 bucks. It wasn't anything exciting. But it gives it some provenance with it being this gold. All right. Got these 8 tracks that'll go in a drawer. Get back to these. All right. Next page. No, I just used that one. This one's got plenty empty. Yeah, I have probably a whole box worth. Well, you can. I could, yeah. Like a whole box worth like that, volume-wise. That's the stuff that the CDs that need listed. Most of them I got yesterday, and then the ones today I resurfaced, which included some I've gotten in the past few days. So what I do for these, and I explain this in each of the lives as I'm doing this. So here's 3 Tech 9s, which will fit right. No, that's going to be too much. So my new listings will go right down here on the bottom right. It's transverse for you, but this is my right. And I'll move those new listings to the left if there's space that I can put them over here to the left. And then if not, then it means that there's space down here. And I'll put the new listings right here. So as I'm doing that, all the newer stuff stays down here. So a time comes when I say, hey, I know I've had that CD for a while. I can start just looking up here. Sometimes they'll get mixed around. Here's a Jodeci. And get on up. But that's just one little thing to save a little bit of time. And I'm already putting them in the box anyhow. Why not just keep doing that? Merry Xmas. Merry Xmas. C34. And I could get one more in there. I'm not pressed about that. Got room in here. Got room for 3. So right here is an interesting one. So this is Christofari, Reggae Worship. I think I scanned it, nothing came up, and then I hand typed it. And the only other CDs I found was him being featured with other artists. And I decided to put that up for 35 bucks. And over time, it'll come down. I think 1 or 2 has sold. Not many, but for the 50 cents or the dollar. When somebody comes by, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that for 25 bucks. Sure. Wouldn't have made that money if I didn't. Always good for those nice higher ones. Yeah, that's what you do. You pick up a lot of stuff on those eBay, but I don't. Did you ever open up that box I sent you, or you bought? I should say the sauerkrauts. I mean, that would have just been mostly bottom of the barrel stuff, but it was filler. C35, and there was a couple tapes in there of some I got for a quarter a piece. But I think only a couple of that band and music wise, like a CD I sold for like $12 or something. But I figure I'll buy all. I don't know how many I got, like 20 of them. So I gave you a handful. I could, but I'm not. I think in that box too, there was I forget the press, not that. It was like a Russian press of, I mean, it was a bunk copy. Ugh. Eyes on what you're doing. Uh, there was, yeah, I figured that there's some filler stuff in there that you could add to something and it'll add up to something for you. Um, but most of the other, anything of recent, like last time I went down there, knowing the smaller diversity of what you got last time to what it was this past time, I just knew it was like I probably couldn't even entice you for something stupid cheap. And plus, so and there really weren't a whole lot of CDs, maybe like 20. That one's good. That one's good. I disappeared. This is interesting. Brandon, it's Paul Fayrewether. Paul, this is called Fayrewether. So I jumped on, and I talked about this in a video about it. So I jumped online and I looked him up, and he did like some gig in Chicago in 1984. And you have to think of the recording equipment from 1984, and then it's eventually sent over to a digital file, digital format, put on YouTube, and then played through. The guy, he was still singing pretty good for the covers he was doing. Paul Fayrweather, Cleveland 80s band. And a matter, I think he just did a tour sometime last year. I think on something I read. But he theatrics and costumes and stuff like that. If you're into that kind of stuff, like kind of 80s stuff. But he did some covers. He did Aqua Lung and did it quite well. Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa. Yeah, eBay kept taking that down. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times. Oh, and speaking of ones that have taken down, I'm sure you probably remember me talking about that King Crimson. So I've been listening at that in my car. The sourced video from yesterday, the day before yesterday, it was like $1,100 sourced. A couple minutes into the video, I had my phone and it's recording me driving and picking up that music. The funny enough is that YouTube copyright violation on that video based off of the intro music. Although I played 5 minutes of King Crimson, 5 minutes straight. Probably because it's not really like in that arena because it was a live recording. But ooh, that bumps. That has some bass to it. Obviously, it's not going to be too well because it's recorded on my phone through my Ford Fiesta speakers, which is then all that's put on YouTube, and you're listening to it on your device, whatever you're listening to it. But it bumps. It has a couple different types of musical feels to it. Pretty heavy drums. Uh, well, I will be 48 this year. And I saw something about Bonamassa. Yeah, this one is. I mean, it's not really a whole lot. Oh no, I actually didn't. Oh no, this one I have for $16. But for $1, I mean, I believe they sell. I mean, it's enough for me. You sell media, and we're like, well, if you bought it, it's chances are it's got to sell. Get room in this one. So thank you. I saw Caroloco. The font on this is so small. Yep. 47 and counting down. It's funny because I see other people that are 48. I mean, I'm 6'4", right? And probably 220. And I see other people that are shorter, older, and probably the same type physique that do not. They look beyond 48. More CDs. Here's another interesting one, Brandon. But this one isn't gold. This is Roger Williams. You know, no booklet. It's still like a $15 CD, but original master. MFSL. Yeah, I think I wrote that in your video about the MFSL. 41 and 41. See 41. Yeah, really can't wait. No one here is privy, so the entire HVAC was redone in this apartment after pretty much the coldest week in like 5 years in Ohio. We had no heat. We had electric. I still have the 2 electric heaters they brought here, but they replaced the HVAC. But it's still going to be so nice to whenever. I mean, if I bust my ass this year and really, really go out, keep going out, and putting it and doing the same thing, but a little more than if I do 20% each year, my sales go up by 20%. If I do 20% more work, does that mean it's 40% more? Not likely, but I bet you by the end of the year, by fall, after everything else is all paid for, I'm not paying somebody to borrow money. So if we're going to move, it's going to continue to be a rental, or go stay. I don't know, or stay here for a little while and just stack 100K and just go on the county auction website, find something, go up there, go bid on it. They're like, there's your money. All right, new seal flashback, Patsy Cline. This is actually, I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping you will be somewhere out walking after midnight, searching for me. I see a weeping willow crying on a pillow, maybe crying for me. All right, 43. So I got this packs and some DVDs. You know, the only person I think famous-wise, so I met Neil deGrasse Tyson back when he came to Kent State like 15 years ago. I forget the NASCAR driver or Indy driver, not Indy, freaking Top Fuel dragster. When they had a little something at Summit Racing. Summit Racing. So they have two main headquarters. One is in Arizona, or not Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and the other one is in Talmadge, Ohio, just south of here. Same little area where my sister lives at, like the next town from where I grew up. And that was when they built that Summit, mid '90s maybe. It's probably when I don't even know who he is. I don't even remember. I'm just telling you the story. Flashback. Flashback is already in there. All right, so I have this. Oh, because that was a return. So I showed a picture of the crack right there. Guy comes back, that thing is snapped, and returns it like this. I think he got mad when I told him he's going to get up to 50% refund if you're using a false claim for a return. I think he got mad. He's like, and broke it. But it's listed for the same price. Somebody will come around. If anything, it'll take a little longer to sell. Saw something in here. Okay. Pure gold can go right there. C43. 43. And then these last ones can just go in that box. 43. I saw something come through. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm still wearing my shirt while I was lowering my ears. That's what my mom used to say. Get a haircut. No, you're just getting your ears lowered. But it was just me and two beard trimmers. One went around of batteries. I get the other one. Plug it in. Do the same thing. There's still some little stragglers that need to be found. I don't have eyes above my head. Not that I know of. All right. Yeah, so it's right here. Sealed Telarc Cincinnati Pops. So it's listed at $30. The guy got it for like 22 or 23 or something. So same price. It already has 12 views. It's got a picture of that cracked case. C47. C47. Oh, man. The Everly Brothers. Oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for your touch. Alone, lonely now. goes by so. But these right here, 18, 25, and 30 for these classicals. Lonely Land. C47. C47. It's like one of the cats wants either in or out of one of the rooms. C47. Now I go over here and I just hit clear all. Back to filters. Back to categories. Categories. Movies. See results. And all these ones that are already right here, already labeled, are just from Sell Similars. Richard Burton. Okay, I got room in 5. So slowly. D5. I was going to grab them from right over here. So this is another interesting one. It's Christmas Carol. So scan that one, and they come up like over $100. Not a whole lot of them have sold, and nowhere near that. But it's me and somebody else has one listed for like over $100 or something for used. So I put this up for 75. It has a view. It's just a matter with that other stuff. Just it has enough views over time, over 3 months. I'll bring it down by a little bit. X library with the booklet. I'll bring it down by a little bit, and a little bit will eventually sell. D11. So I can get all the way down to Cush in here. So I have Dreamers. Some C and a Dreamer. No, hold on, that doesn't look right. American Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim. Well, Smithsonian Channel, Aerial of America of the Pacific Rim, not the movie Pacific Rim. D12. D12. He-Man. Adventure Through Inner Space. D12. He-Man. Cush. D12. She-Ra. I have the power. Whimsical Face. Okay, so that one, I don't think it's sold already. The Whimsical Face. D12. And 14. We'll hold these other ones. Italian. La Terra Trema. I don't know. I don't know the movie. But I scanned it and it was worthwhile and it's listed for $24. D14. Probably paid $1. All right, so now since Dreamers did not want to come up in order, unless I just completely passed it, very likely. Nope. Clear all. Dreamers. Not listed. Unless it sold, which I don't think it did. Awaiting shipment. Sneak peek for everybody, I guess. $420 in sales. And then that's another 12 hours, 13 hours until my sales day is done. I mean, this is going to be Saturday going into now. So it did. All right. Go hang out over there. So have that, these 8 tracks, right? I'm just going to show these now because they've been priced. There's another train. Listings. Active. Filters. Categories. Music. Other formats. Some of these are actually, they turned out pretty good. This one right here, 2 views. It's been up for 4 days, $44. It's a quadraphonic, so this little notch on it. A non-quadraphonic does not have the notch. Quadraphonic, non-quadraphonic. So if you're looking at 8 tracks, they have these, it's worth it to just be like, yes, these are the only ones I'll look up. $44. A lot of this stuff probably won't sell for that. Maybe, you know, a bit, well, not for more, but a bit less. This Earth, Wind, and Fire. See that second one? $75 for an 8-track, 4 views. This War quadraphonic right here, $40. 2 people on the watch list, 5 views. Quadraphonic. There's that little notch. There it is. Led Zeppelin. And the pink cartridge. 3 people looked at it. It'll probably still sell $15. I mean, I paid $1 each. And the other ones are $11. Hold on. Oh, this Parliament is $38. And there's only a couple of those. I don't think there's any listed besides mine. And there's like 2 or 3 in Terapeak that have sold. And all the pads are still in place. So give me a minute. I'm going to go take this in there. Then I'm going to unplug the tripod and take everything into the dining room and get that set up. Battery pack just in case. Hello. So this is a tour of my ceiling. And then this goes up. Like that. Plug this in. Turn that on. Grab another. We got a trash panda out here. Not quite. Usually about that. That's good enough. Well, Trash Panda. Hey, it just welcomed me back to my own stream. So the next thing, I just gotta put these books away in here. I mean, it's not difficult. Like these boxes here, I could probably just put them all in there. I'm not really too pressed about filling these ones up because last time I did this like a month ago, all these got filled up and I stopped like right about here. So all these ones, for that amount of books, it's not going to take up room. And then the 8-tracks and the cassettes. No. What am I even doing? So that's where my 8-tracks are. So the expensive ones, I'll put sleeves on. And just remember to get a new picture. Because I have 2 extra sleeves and 2 8-tracks that are worth a bit. Doesn't add a whole lot, but that's why I saved them for that exact purpose. And then that tape drawer, I could put those in. So I hope you like the Trash Panda. My generation, and a lot of people probably, well, there's 9 people watching. Hey, thanks. All 9 of you. 8 now. But usually there's only a couple people here when I do this. But Soundgarden, Super Unknown, right down our alley. Like I said, I'll be 48 sometime in this year. Sometime means that then my birthday is at least this February 16th onward. But a lot of these cassettes in here. So this Morrissey, I think that's listed like $150 somewhere around there. Peter Tosh, Culture, Big Youth, some reggae in here. The Smithereens, Neil Young. I mean, I've already sold almost. Well, I sold a Beatles Abbey Road seal cassette for $300, and the guy bought a couple more, and his order was total like $550. So my best bet is just to do this right here. I just saw the Trash Panda go by again. But no, let me do these 8-tracks first. So there is I go price highest first. No. Price highest first. Wow, that is a pretty big delay in I think when I moved my phone, I paused it or something. So Earth, Wind, and Fire, I want to protect a little more. So there's stereo 8-track, which is not stereo. Is this A&M? No, it's not. So by default, it'll be that one. Whoever gets that's not going to be able to take that out now. Way to go, me. And the next one, oh, so let me put this in. This is your 8-track. So creative. The number 8, then TRK. Not to be mistaken with 8 track or 8-track because I have so many things labeled 8-track that I'm never going to be able to find it now. Creativity. And this quad. Is this A&M? No. Is War A&M? No. This is United Artists. So to me, it doesn't matter. Okay. 8-track. 8-T-R-K. Okay. Now I gotta do that 5 more times. 8 T-R. No. I mean, I could just do this on the computer and make it easier that way. Which one I just label? War. War never changes. You know that reference? Now I'm going to have one. It's not going to be able to fit anywhere. If I do that, I don't have any room that way, so that really doesn't matter if I do it like that. Parliament, Funkadelic. Yeah, that other Parliament, I think this is it right here. Yep. Now look at that 8-track. Look how nice and mint and clean that thing is. And this one is $38 as well. That's just where I have it priced. So I'm gonna come around and buy it for $33. But for that, I think I paid 30 cents. That's already in there. 8-track. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, better lock your door. That's like the 10th time I've sung that jingle in a couple days. Freddy's coming for you. 5, 6, grab the crucifix. Everyone now. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, Freddy's back again. I don't know if anything comes after that. 11, 12, I don't know. It's like Candyman, right? Nope, that'll get in the way like that. You'll just hang out in another drawer. Drawer, what did he done, did he do? And that one, I think, yeah, that one just sits a little too high. And 8-track. Go like that. I can go like that. Should be good. Should. This is going to be in T4. T4. Dun 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 dun. Trash Panda's back. We are on the eve of destruction. Barry McGuire. I have a compilation. He's on a compilation CD. Actually, I have those listed now. Time Life. Was that one? No, that was that one I actually just put away. That like triple 1960s or something. That was on that one. Disc 2, like track 3 or something. I heard that. I was like, man, I haven't heard that in a long time. For some reason, I remembered it. Cassettes. 185 cassettes listed. For a total of almost $7 grand. Oh, no, not that way. I need these to go listed date. And then I'll get the books and it'll be bedtime. Knights of Columbus. So that's an interesting one. It's just Knights of Columbus rosary thing. I found books and all kinds of like physical rosaries, but no tapes. 3 years. And I looked on a couple other places and I couldn't find anything. So there's going to be someone, well, I mean, who would want this for $25. It's listed for 35, but it's going to be just like with everything, but almost everything. But that one person was just going to be scrolling Knights of Columbus rosary, and they're looking for a rosary. Then they see this cassette. I'm like, what? I want that. Like that model boat from Napoleon Dynamite. You got to buy the Tupperware set to get that. Knights of Columbus, T4. Mac Davis. I just sold a 3 CD set of his not too long. Actually, I think it was the day that I sold that. I found this. The 3D set or the 3 CD set was like $72. That may even be that video's thumbnail. I found this cassette. I mean, it's not really a whole lot. $11. Well, at least I know that Mac Davis, the name, the artist, stands a pretty good chance to sell. And the more of these I do, the easier it is to remember a lot of these. There's so much stuff out there. I probably, it's like knowing how much of the ocean humans know about. It's not really much. There's a lot. There's a lot of the ocean don't know about. There's a lot of physical media I have no idea. And then eventually, move and start getting more stuff. And they have a little stereos. Oh, speaking of, that place where I got most of all these seal cassettes, like all the really, 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 really good ones. The guy, Keen, Charlie Keen, he has a YouTube channel. And I follow it so I can pay attention on when and where he's having sales. So he has one coming up in Parma, up on the west side. Actually, out where my sister lived at. And there was a Savers, and it's part of a run. And I looked, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it's scattered with a lot of other stuff, but for the media, for me wise, there was enough there to get me there. And Parma's 35, 40. I don't know exactly where it's at, that place, but I'll be going. I got to get cash out. Well, I got all week for that. T4. This is called the Rankins Uprooted. And at least do that and get Bassy in there. T4. So those are put away, and there's I think there's one drawer. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 3. So there's one drawer missing, but I have my 45s, my cassette tapes. These drawers, you probably see them at Walmart. It's just like a stainless steel frame. It has a perforated top and a bunch of these drawers, and they hold cassettes perfectly. And a stack of 3 8-tracks on top of each other perfectly. And that just stays out of the way. And between the 8-tracks, the 40, I mean, I don't have many of 45s left. And all the cassettes, I mean, that's, well, what's there in cassettes? 7, so I don't know, 9,000. Just in a little drawer thingy like this. There was way more, if all that other stuff hadn't sold, and there's already thousands of dollars of cassettes that I've already sold that I paid 35 cents for. Each, roughly. Now we get to the books. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to clear all. I'm just in my active listings. This is an old tablet. I see it all the time, and I brought it up a couple times on what year this is. done a full rotate. Settings. About tablet. It's an SM 2016. So 10 years old. And just for doing what I do, it can get a little laggy sometimes, but for the couple times a day I need it for 10-15 minutes, those times it's doing just fine. It's not like I'm editing with it or doing all my listings with it. It's just to type in text, find what I need, and add text. That's about it. Unfortunately for this, I was hoping that I could have it to where it doesn't. If I can get it to where when it showed the pictures, it'd be a little faster. But that's incorporated with your eBay settings. So I thought about that. I'm like, oh man, smart idea. But that's pretty stupid, Derek. That's a whole other page. All right, fortune teller. I'm not going to go on about the return of that book. Feel a sneeze coming on. Books. And for books wise, there are 579 books listed for $27,400. So about $30 average. 30, 100, no, 40, 40, 50, about $50 average. So I like books. Some aren't going to be a whole bunch, and some are. Lives of the Saints. Oh, I wanted to find this. This is Fortune. I'll find that one later. And I believe the Lives of the Saints is this book set right there. How about that? Oh, you can't really see that angle. Okay, that one fit in that box just right. Lives of the Saints. B, as in books, 33. So I'm just going to, what's just known as like, I guess it's a generic way of saying like facing. I'm just going to face these on here and figure out which ones are sticking out the most. Put those in the back so I can more accommodate for stuff that's going to go perpendicular. For all of you paying attention, that was a choo-choo train. Chugga chugga. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well. Well, all in the bank. But you'll go right there just fine. And these are right there. Now there's a possum out here. B33. B33. This. That one's fine. B33. Yeah, music playing on my my earlier live when I was resurfacing the stuff, the discs. It's called Echo something Lab. I tagged it in the live with the chapters, but that won't be public until tomorrow. John Baker Celebrate Recovery Guidebook. That's this one. It's enough. B33. Okay. So I have enough room for the paperbacks right here, and the Bible and everything's going to go right there, and that's going to be about it. Unless anybody wants to stick around and kumbaya. 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 So this is John Wayne's wife, Pillar Wayne. It's a cookbook. Signed. It's not much. $20, $23. What are the perils of being a camp counselor back in the day? Remembering a whole bunch of those camp jingles. Kumbaya. That was a bad one. Not that I sing well as it is. You can't judge something that's beyond neutral. It's bad. Not good. Not gonna do it. No new taxes. You get him, George. No, that wasn't George. That was no, was that George? No, that was Bush or not Reagan. B-32. I was a wee guy playing my Atari. Oh yeah, Future Boy. Who's the president in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor. I'm going to leave all political talk right there. All right. Gore. I saw something come up. John. I can make out John Norman. Thanks. My wife is from south of there. We are up east of Cleveland right now. But my wife is, if I just say Mon, I'm sure you know what I talk about. How am I? As I say to everybody, I'm still breathing. You know, I'm looking this way at the earth. I'm looking down at it. Because when time comes and I have to be looking up, I can't be looking up. It's that's a morbid way of saying, yeah, good, thanks. There's her. Ask me for me to get the coffee ready. Oh, the Marauders right here. B30. Whereabouts in Pittsburgh? So I lived in Etna, Lawrenceville, Shaler, that area for a little while, Millville, and down um, 88 and 51, that area, that exact area. Brookline, Brentwood is a little farther down 51. Brookline, Overbrook. It's been a while. This has lived out there, fuck. 10 years? When was the last time we lived there? What, John, was it? Oh, yeah. So actually, I used to, I don't know how old you are, but I started for a window and door company back in 2017. And they hired me on to manage out in the Pittsburgh office out there. And it was in Monroeville, right off the highway turnpike area, where I think a much higher, much taller, like an 8 or 10 story building is right there, not too far from the mall. And it was right beside the fire department. And that was 10 years ago. So I know of Plum. I don't remember a lot of the areas now. If you were mentioning it, but like, oh yeah, I can try to remember something. But it's a nicer area. Plum and what is it, Holiday Park? Is up that way? Is that what it's called, Holiday Park? The big housing neighborhood? I think there's a bunch of condos or townhouses or something up there. Anchor. Yeah, Holiday Park. Well, I'm going to guess that's what you're talking about. History. And then, I mean, I'm familiar with going down 66, 366, and Arnold and Ford City up and down 28 to the server, whatever that's called, and Katanning, Verona Heights, Millville, mainly because Millville's all down in that little area. I am familiar with the area. Not like massively, but at least this conversation can continue, right? You're like, oh, he knows about that. Yeah. B32. So I don't recognize your name, and if you may have commented, you may have been a subscriber for the past year. I don't know. But I resell physical media and make it fairly modest. Last year was over 100K in gross sales, and my average buy is like $1 a piece per item average. And I started a YouTube a little over a year ago to let people know, man, this stuff is out there. It is. It's everywhere. It's cheap. It's easy to work with, and it sells fast. Reminds me of your mom. B32. Red alert. Mosquito fleet. No. Mosquito fleet. So, I don't know. I would say more. There's 2 more books, and that's it. And those can go right there. Oh no, these are manuals. These are going to be in computers. Just for the way they weren't showing up. Definitely everywhere I have a. I got a feeling that Brandon's gonna say about the same thing. It's like, dude, this stuff, this media stuff, it's out there. It's everywhere, man. If you want to make something just a side hobby or something modest, I took it full time about 5 years ago now, and stay organized and stay dedicated. And I'll let Brandon have his glory there. Not to say it like that, but put these books away here. So this is another example, like PC stuff. These are, this was a software for 5.5-inch floppies. So if that gives you an idea on how old that is, this is a software. So someone could have the software and they want the manual for retro computer builds. And they have the software, right? And they don't have the manual, or somebody just wants to sell it, or they want to keep it, or whichever. This manual tool, I don't want to type that many. What guide? So I was at that flea market around the corner, which I'd never been to before. 6 years, never been there. It's been open for a long time. And I just asked the guy, I was like, yeah, he said about video games. He pointed to his son who had NES for, I mean, it was lower than eBay, but it's nothing that was really entertaining me, because I'm after this stuff where people are like, oh, I don't want to, people are going to look up an NES game way before they're going to look at anything like this up. And so he comes over with these 2 manuals. I'm like, yeah, just put them on my stack. I'll buy it. I don't care. I'm not going to ask any questions. If they turn out to be worthwhile, cool. If not, then I'm out $2. I got 50-50 chance already. One is going to be worth more than the other, flat out. And this Borland Sidekick, that's listed for $13. Just the user guide. And that is whatever. It's that book. And this right here is 2 Works Backup Pro. This entire thing open is like $100 for the entire kit caboodle. You want just the manual? I got it for $30. It'll sell for $20 eventually. That's where my brain goes with it. I'm going to sit on stuff that I paid almost nothing for. Eventually, there's another train coming. And eventually, somebody's going to come around and be like, B31. And then I just keep going out all the time. And in Plum, I know the red, white, and blue at 51, right when you get off 79. And you take a sharp turn on 51. It's red, white, and blue. There's a Salvation or something else. Salvation Army up in West Mifflin. It might still be there. It's been 10 years since I've been there. And behind Century 3 Mall, well, just say behind the abandoned lots is what you should say. And a Goodwill that was down 51. I forget the name of that area. Brentwood. I'm sure, I mean, you're familiar with the area, so you know where and about that stuff is better suited for you. Except for here, if I want to go 30 miles east or west or south, I have hills that are like this. I lived there long. I lived out in Southwest PA long enough to know that I can make that fun joke. I get better gas mileage because of it. Not because of the joke. If that was the case, I'd be talking to my car all the time. I'd be getting 200 miles a gallon because that's how funny I am. In airplane mode, that put this drawer back. So what was this one? A little over an hour. So I mean, there's still a few people here. Oh shit! I gotta put this book away. I can go right there. Actually, I think that's where it came from. Oh, this book right here. I just saw that comment come in. This book right here, Scanner Darkly. So some of you guys may know the movie with Keanu Reeves, right? So this is Scanner Darkly. It is not an ex-library. It does have some damage right there. So it could have, no, I think it is actually. Yeah, it's an ex-library from Reed Memorial in Ravenna. So Ravenna is Portage County, the county where I grew up in. Ravenna would have been the next town east. And so that's the main library out there. But I got this up down in Chardon, which unfortunately I have to say Chardon. Some people may know Chardon High School from a high school shooter from many years ago. JD Lang or something like that. But I was down at the Discovery Thrift Store. Their proceeds help cancer research and stuff. So I've sold paperbacks of this in Darkly. And I believe this is the first edition. And that's the thing with a lot of library prints or library copies, they will be first edition. It is the first edition. So I typed in Darkly. Oh, I gotta take it out of airplane mode first. Airplane mode. That way you don't eat up your bandwidth for a device that's sitting doing nothing. And you save your battery life because it's not constantly trying to ping for that reception. And okay, so Monroeville, okay. Here, I'm doing these little things right here. Those little ice cream cone things. I never knew I could do that. Which is very oh, there's one in North for Sales. Well, at least it was open then. Matter of fact, we got our car stuck there. One day we went there because I used to live in Dravosburg. Oh yeah, North for Sales. If I would have finished reading that before I started talking. So where I lived, it was right over the river. And I was not selling media then. I was basically anything that's pretty much smaller and easier to work with. Smalls. And just media, there's just so much of it out there. Well, you heard my joke earlier. And it's so cheap. The Scanner Darkly book. Relisted 5 days ago. X Library first edition. What is that? $300? How many views in 5 days? $330. It'll probably sell for around that price range. Believe me, you can look at some of my sales. There were some books out there. I was like, oh yeah. Like this one here, the person returned it because they said I didn't disclose that, but there's a picture of that. So they got a partial refund for using a false claim for return. But this is like a 1930s or something book. Actually, let me put this back here. Well, it's like $40-50. Pay like $2 for it because it's just so. I want to say fortune telling and that kind of stuff is kind of esoteric, but this is like a 19. Oh, I gotta look it up anyhow. Teller. Go teller of the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. B48. No, actually, yep. It's right there. So this comes up a 1937, so 90 years old. And I have it listed as like probably actually it'd be an antique, so there is no separation. It's either new or it's used. But you can go a little further down and add some more information if you want to in specifics. But I was like, very good for 100-year-old book. Minor spine wear. Look, see, pick, or something like that. I'm like, oh, you didn't disclose that. Yes, I did. I know what I'm doing. Oh, so you're I don't know what their eBay account information is or what have you. But I was like, you think that you're going to get one over? I've been at this on this account for like 15 years. I sell plenty enough. You're trying to come in like the crook who thinks that you're going to mastermind everybody else whose job it is to defeat this crook. It's like, oh, I got you now. I was like, no, I got too much experience. I know. Oh, you get pulled over because cops suspects you of swerving and stuff. Stink like alcohol. Even if you take, I haven't drank in 5 years, 6 years, and 6 years is August. I mean, we could smell it just on somebody a block away. And you're like, oh, I had 2 drinks. And the cop's like, stop. I've done this before. I know you're bullshit. So, that's put away. And there's all kinds of selling protections. And this, like this right here, I've got this one. I've got another one right there and one out in storage just like this. These, I think, I got them at Savers, where I get a lot of stuff. Savers right down the road. I think these ones, and then the ones earlier, if you joined earlier, when you could see like the grayish white, those I bought, and then oh no, it's just this one and the other one. These were like $20 each. They're like $18, and moving it around in the cart broke up here. But all the other parts that are important are good. And then the kind of grayish white ones, I bought 5, where it racks up to 5 for like $80 or something, $62 because I use like a 20% off coupon. And just one of those racks themselves is like $60. And then I've got some other racks that are already disassembled that I can use for other things. Get this stuff. Definitely helps out. Where are we at here? Out there in Monroeville. I'm gonna bring that down. Yeah, it's been a long while for me to be out there in PA for any good reason or purpose. I was out there a handful of years ago, but out here where I live, the James A. Garfield, President James A. Garfield Museum is right down the road. If I go east, so pretty much just quite a bit west of Erie into Ohio is an area called Ashtabula. And so I'll go that route, and there's a Goodwill, a Salvation Army, and then a Goodwill by the power plant, the nuclear power plant in Madison. So those are the only 3 on that route, unless I go down to Chardon. And then I don't know how well you know Ohio, but then I'll get all the way over to Avon, a little bit more past Parma, which I'll if I'm feeling the jive for the drive for tomorrow, I'll go out to Avon. But that's 8 or 9 stores, so I need to get out earlier. But any of those, most of those routes, most of the longer routes, I go to the farthest store first. So if I need to cut my time for whatever reason, if I want to go back, I don't have to drive as far the next time. But there's 1, 2, 3 Savers out here. So that really comes in handy. One in Parma, which I'm going to Parma on Sunday. This coming Sunday, not today. This coming Sunday. And to an estate sale, just to kind of put my eyes in there. Was that on? Yeah. So any videos? Was that on your previous? Re-ask what you're asking. Was that? Now keep in mind this font is really small, right? Was that on your previous video sourcing? You have to understand the delay. Sometimes I'll yammer. And by the time I see even the question or comment or something, it's done, slipped my mind. Now I completely forgot on where I was even going with what I was saying, which is fine. Saves me from drinking less. Well, usually I'll drink sugar-free stuff. Trying to think. What I just if you mean like was that on your previous video? I do have other videos for location if that's where you're asking for that. I won't put it in the title or where I was. I'll just say it. Like, oh yeah, so I went out to the Avon run and I hit this store, this store. If that's more what you're asking. I haven't been out to Avon. I have a count. Hold on, let me go get it. Show you on how I keep track. Very basic. All right, so I have not. Where are we at? Somewhere right around here, I think. So all I do, I just open my phone, go to Google, go to the little Google Maps 10 thing, and go to my timeline, and I just go back on the dates on where it was. Where did I go that day, and I write it down. Very generically. January was cold. I didn't really go out a whole lot. December, and we're getting to that time frame right there. Not really doing a whole lot of driving then. But if we go here, it's just when I go out sourcing. And even if they're local stores, I will still write them in here. These are just, I probably just didn't want to do shit. I probably just listed a whole bunch. Same thing, you know? Whenever I want to go, I just write it down. But we can go back here in summer, July, same thing. It's still really, but if I go out more often, that was a pretty full month. If I go out more often, so I'm going to be able to look here. I'm going to be looking for Avon. I don't think I was there. Avon, Sunday. Avon, December 28th. No good. No good. Oh, okay. So I wrote in here. So there's a store out there called Good Neighbor. Good Neighbor from where Hancock is from Fallout, right? And that tells me that I did not go there. And if I didn't go there, then I didn't go to the Goodwill right up to like 10 minutes up the road from there, which is in Sheffield Lake. So when I go, I know I'm going to be going to Good Neighbor. And the last time I was in Avon prior to that is most likely going to be about a month. Already, almost 2 months. Avon, a little over 2 months. So I write that down so I can keep a track. And it's not like sophisticated. I'll tell you what, it takes me how long to write down? I mean, I could find a pen and open up the map on the phone right here. I'm surprised I've got 8 people here. I have more people here than I did when I was micro scrapping. And so that's also part. So next week, it's going to be, there's a day that's going to be like 60. So for anyone who's out and about, or across the pond, that's 15 Celsius, around there. And so that's going to be nice in comparison to the break of what it's been. If you're like, oh man, go out there, go out and go sourcing. No, I got an area that I got to get cleaned up. And then a lot of the scrap metal. All the scrap metal, this is all non-steel. All that is brass, bronze, aluminum, stainless, zinc, lead, aluminum, copper, aluminum from a graphics card, brass, aluminum, computer, aluminum. So I've never really micro scrapped before. And chunks of copper would be in here too. This is from like a 4-port little electric chunk. And one of my, so if you're into micro scrapping, I have those in a playlist and they're chaptered. I mean, it's not like super chaptered every single thing. Like every 20, 30 minutes, there's a new chapter or something. This right here, this is brass. This is steel. That's stainless. That's brass. So that's something. Get into micro scrapping now. Watch other channels. Scrap It All is mainly where I got the inspiration to do this. Like, man, I got all this stuff that took up pretty much half of this dining room table here, and I consolidated most of all the steel is in one, and then there's circuit boards and copper and wires and stuff in that same box. But I can move a bunch of this stuff outside until I start going around and actually looking in the dumpsters to find free stuff that I could take apart. And something else I was thinking is a contact the scrap. There's only 2 scrap yards up here that I just by typing up, and just contact and be like, hey, you know, I know what some metals are, but you've got the tools and the knowledge better than I do. How about if you show me some differences of things, and then I can learn, but I want to take the things that are more chunky, like the steel that's going to take a lot of room, because I've got a box outside that has more stuff that needs to be gone through. That's just a variation of different metals, mainly all just steel. But it was just stuff that was just we're done with here, or something like, oh man, that's 8 pounds of steel. I'll just throw that in the box. sometime because I'd already watched uh, Thub Print. He does a lot of street scrapping and stuff. I'm like, man, you know, it's another one of those. It's that stuff is out there, and I figure taking the stuff apart, I can get the circuit boards and the copper and the precious metals, and just set all that aside. And in 20 years from now, sell that copper, sell the copper, you know, sell that stuff. Who knows what type of setup I'll have in order to accommodate all that? But all that was doing, me taking that stuff apart and getting the precious metals and things like that and the steel, I'm investing in my future, you know, because it's all money that those metals, aside of the most recent spike and decline, it didn't go back to the price that it was before it spiked. It's higher than that, right? So all that tells me is that those metals are going up in value. And if I took more than a couple hours to do it, but to take all that stuff apart and just eventually start separating, 20 years from now, if I've got 800 pounds of copper, pay a fucking house off. You know, just imagine that with the gold and silver. So I'm like, I'm going to start doing that. And that's where, and this box has just been sitting here because I need to move stuff around. Long story short, just don't throw those electronics out. At least get the circuit board and little chunks of copper out and just put it in a box and get to it years later. The steel you could throw away. I mean, it's up to you, but if you're doing micro scrapping like that, you're probably going to keep the steel and just take it all there. And then I won't do anything for any selling until like Earth Week. My understanding is that you get a little more during Earth Week and stuff. John still doesn't respond to that. So hopefully what I just said to your question or comment, John, answered your question, or I answered it. Yeah, I wish that font was larger so I can make the name out better. I did say I didn't want to consolidate these boxes down. And I have enough room to do it. Because my tall self at 6'4", for me to go all the way down here and get to these boxes. All right. You guys talked me into it. I'm going to go do something first. I'm going to turn off these lights. Oh, electricity isn't free. Even if you pay for your system. It pays for itself eventually. Solar and wind and hydraulic, it pays for itself eventually. Still ain't free. Free is just another word for it. It costs you something. It's going to cost you something. Back to this box. ABC, BBD, Bib the Bow. Okay. So for this is not going to be consolidating the box. I'm going to end up needing the boxes before too long anyhow. Like I was saying, I don't want to kneel all the way down here, all the way down to the bottom, reach over the chair and pull up the box, and then I'm trying to grab it like this and all of the contents spill out. It's easier if it's at these shelves. Stop rotating, please. So I know that these are all in B22. So I'll go to there. B22. Go. Here, another train. So there's $375 in those 11 books. So that's not bad, right? A little over 30 bucks. How many were there? 11. Yeah, a little over 30 bucks. Don't mean anything until they sell. Actually, I think, no, that one did not. I sent an op route on that one. So face these here. So I could see. And now I go to People's Meisel. And I'm just going to type B48. How to know the trees. How to know the trees. So this is an old book on tree identification, like Acer palmatum, which is a palm maple. So it looks like honeysuckle, maybe chestnut right here. No, that's an oak. More oaks. Oaks are going to have leaves like that. Birch tree, and there's some more oak. Chestnut, yeah, chestnut. Chestnut oak. So that's what that was. That's a chestnut oak. Took a little bit of horticulture. Did some landscaping. Snarf. B48. This one I've had for a while. I'm surprised it hasn't sold yet. But it gets enough attention over time for me to reprice it. B48. The Radical Therapist. B48. It's good like that. This is an old German book. First steps. Jesus. B48. I better waste that space there. New American Bible Revised. This. Negative. Maybe. Negative. If I do that, then there's not going to be room for that. Silly rabbit. So I'm not seeing this book. Maybe one of those things eBay took down because it's old German stuff. I don't know. Yeah, because I've looked that one up. And I just did an inventory check at the turn of the year. Unless it's sold. I don't think it did. It's not much. So Klein, K Leine, Klein. Showing up, $56. It was. Oh, I was already in here. That's why. Yeah, that's why. If I had a book in this, and like something like this, probably because it's better and I just don't want to take any chance. Okay. So this is Return of the Living Dead, Canada print. Not really a whole lot of them out there. This one is up for like $250. So this is priced on the horror genre of it. Hold on, this is going to be B29. B29. This is listed at $265. 12 views, and it was relisted 13 days ago. Oh no, my bad. 2 months ago. But it's just one of those. It's going to take the right person, the right horror fan, to come in, and I'll get $200 for it. You can look this up. Return of the Living Dead, Russo. As many books as you can find. There's not going to be. There might be one now, but there wasn't any with this graphic. I think I went into Terapeak, and one I had sold for like $60 or $80 or whatever. If you have a strong stranglehold on something, because you're the only one who has it, a pressing like that, yeah, that's why I look for this physical media stuff. All right, so now I need B22 again. How long will you? So that is a multi-pronged question with a multi-pronged answer. So how long do I hold on to stuff? So I do how I run my items in the sales. They all start in the bracket at 39% off, 47%, 35 goes down to sometimes as low as 9, depending on the quantity of items I have. I'm always teetering right around 3,000 listings. And with 3,000 listings, I put 1,000 in sales out, right? So it's that rotation. So of 4,000 listings, 1,000 sold, 25% rotation rate. Twice a year, I will run a higher sale to where now everything, instead of being starting at 39%, and depending on when I add more things, all those different items are going to be bumped up or bumped down in price. It's always going to change that just a little, just a little, just a little. The day after, typically, the day after Christmas, I will start a sale where everything, the first bracket is 49% off. So roughly everything is going to be 10% or a tad lower off. After that sale ends, whatever is left, I will look at my items and I will go to what has been listed the longest. Because I do frequent sell similars, because when I take pictures, I'm using a timestamp for the picture. So I have a timestamp with my phone, so I can relist all I want. All I got to do is refer to that picture and I can see a timestamp. Thank me later. So the way I do sell similars, I'm not going to get into that. To answer the main question. So all this stuff, especially books and stuff, anything that's been listed for 6 months or longer will automatically come down en masse. It could be 100 things, it could be 400 things. It all comes down. Before I do that, I will click on every single one of those listings. And I will click on the view counter. And if that view counter is 5, 6, 7, something like that, it's going to come down. I'm just going to reprice like I usually do. The rest of the stuff is going to come down in one fell swoop. And then I'm going to copy paste the title, the author, the artist, whatever it may be, into current listed, 90 days, and Terapeak. And I'm going to see the gauged price of really where it should be. If is an item that is not worthy for it to be sell similar for me to hold on to it for another year. All right, something just gave a little swirly. But so I will, a lot of those listings will just get priced accordingly to more likely selling price. I've done that, so now 6 more months. So at the end of June, when I'm doing a 4th of July sale, which is the same thing, just repeated 6 months later. Now I know that that chunk from those 6 months, so anything that's been listed for 6 months or just a tad longer, right around there, were things that I did a chunk of before. And if they don't have much of any views, now I can know, or I can refer to the date stamp and I will determine. So to answer the question, it can really vary, but books I try to keep, depending on the value, I try to keep for a couple years. If it's a $12 book and I've had it for 3 years, fuck it, it goes. It's out. I don't want it. If it's a $40, $50, $60, $70 book, and all it's going to do is just take that one person because it's such a niche book, such an esoteric something like this. Yeah, well, I've had this for, let's just say if I had it for 3 years. And I'm like, oh, no, it's never sold. I'm not going to throw it out. It's just going to keep coming down in price and price and price. So it's more like a value point, a size of a book point, which I don't have many bigger books anymore besides like maybe this one and maybe a couple more. This is a first edition of, I think this one is The Stand, Stephen King. And I explained before about gutter codes. But anyhow, it could be a while, but ultimately my decision to take things down is based off of their lack of a sales history and the potential value of it. Time frame, most of everything is going to be, I'm going to have for at least a year until I really consider taking it down. So long-winded way to answer that. So I give things a lot of time and opportunity, but then there's like, no, it's not worth it for me to just wait on that. I mean, yeah, it's just not. Because I'm just going to rotate this stuff right out. I was like, that 50 things, if I get $3 from half price books from taking a bunch of stuff down there, cool. Well, I'm just going to go to a thrift store. I'm going to find more books or more CDs or more DVDs. So I try to get what I can and price things more accordingly now and even more later on. But the more experience I get, the more things that I buy that are more likely to sell. Like stuff like these right here, these stamp books from the 70s. So this is just by the Postal Service. Each of these I picked up for like 20 cents each. So I just put them in a little lot. Somebody might want them sometime, but if I just say after the calling in probably July, if I really look again, I know that these probably will not sell. But I picked them up so cheaply that worst I can do is take a couple pictures and list it because somebody might want it. But the odds of those selling is pretty low. Stranger things that surprise me. I've been at selling for decades. This eBay account is 15 years old, 14. Then my first rodeo, John, I believe it was. John. All right. Yeah, that was a long-winded way. A lot of times I can say things very, very winded for reasons. So you have to ask less and you have more information to go off of. And then any question you're going to have is going to be more exact. There's a lot of sellers out there. A lot of them on YouTube. A lot of them I don't want to say a lot. Some I like. I used to listen to a lot of them. Wow, I sound like Christopher. Oh, now I sound like Fonzie. Oh. So the Radical Therapist, unless it's sold, which I doubt it, is also. Let's sing it. Oh, speaking of Stephen King, it's a Book of the Month edition. I've had this one for a long time. So, for example, right here, $36, one view. It's been listed for after this most recent sell similar 2 months, 12 days ago. Hold on, 2 months, 12 days ago. That would be right after Christmas, right? So I already did that sale. And then I did a big calling or a big like mass takedown. And this, I'm not seeing a date stamp on. So I probably had this for at least 4 years. Somebody's going to want the Book of the Month Club edition of this. It might sell for $25, but I'm going to keep bringing the price down because it is what it is. And well, that is that nobody's buying that right now. So that's what it is. All right. Back out of here. B29. And I don't know, that's right, you did say that you do watch. Maybe you're the same person who asked, hey, you're gonna make a video on how I price. I don't think that was you. I'm just rambling on now. Polymer processing. So unless I get, so I don't waste this space, I can rotate these like that, and I can get one more book right there. This can go right there. Using the noodle key, man. Okay. B29. What time is it? No, it's not even 9. Piece of plastic from when I was tearing all those things apart. I still have all these neodymium magnets from the laptop hard drives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that's how many. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Ew. Actually, I think this book right here. No, I don't remember. But Wayne County, part of out here in the regions of Ohio. Some of that local history stuff. I just sold that that one for Shaker Heights. I went in a little bit of description about Shaker Heights. Not like anything crazy, but it is a very diverse area. Very diverse. B28. Sound like someone's smoke alarm. It is. Not here. New American. What the fuck did I do with that? Polymer. B28. I just had this one, New American Bibles in 48. B48. B28, and this Buddhist. So I stay relatively busy. You know, if I actually cranked out easily 40, 50 hours a week, yeah, it'd be a whole different like financial story and store growth and all that. But as of right now, B28, I'm gonna put that in there. As of right now, I like this pace, but I do know that I really don't want to own a house. I wouldn't mind working something out with the landlord for something. Like, hey, put the insulation in. We're signed up for 5 years. I'll split the insulation with you. Something like that, right? 5 windows you could probably replace them all. I know somebody who works in the window business. You know, something like that. And then do that kind of work for another 20 years and just keep putting money away. Make sure you have a couple million to retire on. Roth IRA or any whichever. No, I'm already in B28. Radical. I shouldn't have many things with the word radical in it. Bodacious man. Cowabunga. That was in B48, but now it's in B28. B28. I am a fairly modest person. As long as you're breathing, as long as you have food, well, that's and shelter, right, and clothing and stuff. But as long as you have that, man, I don't need. I mean, I wouldn't mind having like a nice, I don't know, specific make of cars, but yeah, it'd be great to have a Maserati or something. But that's too flashy. You just got that money way earlier in life. But spend your money on appreciable things that will gain money, such as most of all this stuff that's right here, it was only printed one time. So the more of this stuff that people have, especially not listed, not for sale, maintains a degree of value for those items, but they're still going to be all over the damn place. So it's not difficult to extrapolate way more sales by just the ratio of how I do. And the eBay metrics is good. I don't even know where I'm even going with this. Oh yeah, it's just move and have a better system. And kind of live an easy work 20, 30 hours until my knees snap and be like, all right, time to start pulling from that hedge fund or whatever. But until the meantime, I want to say I'm poor, and I would not say I'm well off. Things are paid for, living a modest life. And it's easy work doing this stuff. And I get to do it with people like you. Now, I get to do it with people like you who want to learn about this. So that's the same thing on, I got the idea. Man, I still have a bunch of these. I had some Rainn Wilson, the actor. He had a book. I forget what it's called. Um, and I got those. I've only sold like 2, but I had like 10 of those. But this is easy. This is just inventory management. If I had a bigger outfit, as people call it. Oh, what's your outfit's name? What you talking about? Your outfit. So I don't know. Gucci. Actually, a plug for my buddy who has like tabletop cards, and he has like video game consoles and stuff down in Madison, a little bit east of here. BRcardsandgames.com. I made him a deal when I brought up a bunch of stuff to him that he could buy and use for like his store, what have you. And the deal was so good that I ended up paying $10 for this shirt. I took him stuff to sell, so he would give me money. I ended up giving him $10 for the shirt. But I'm like, yeah, I'll wear it. I'll put it on my channel and stuff. That's how much of a sales guy I am. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll sell you ice. Where are you trying to sell ice to? Eskimos. You're gonna sell ice to Eskimos. Yeah. Okay. 54. B 54. Oops. Radical something. Oh, that book. Okay. I've taken him a few things. Like, instead of me just putting it in a box and donating it, I'll just take a box with me, stuff by his store, say hi, chit chat for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. And if he wanted something from the box for his store, which sometimes he'll give me $10, sometimes I give him 10. Sometimes I give him 10. Oh, you just eat good from the ball. I very, very bad John Madden. All right. Where are you at? So I hit, B54 is this one. I need B21. Actually, this is a pretty cool journal. Okay, so that's all this is a journal. Flame Tree notebook with berries. Global Warwick. I guess is the artist. But Global Warwick, that's why some journals I bought before, and just the cool design that's on it, people buy it for 20, 30, 40 bucks. It's just a journal. Dude, I don't care. Somebody's going to like that really, really cool design. Am I going to lose money on it? No. Being modest about that right there. I'm like, well, it's still money, right? Yeah. B21. These 4 books, so if you want to go back into more like a civil rights type addressing, so this Julia Hare and Nathan Hare. So Nathan Hare, I think he's on one of these. He's a doctor, Dr. Nathan Hare. So he talked about African American studies a lot. A couple of these books are still used. So I got all 4 of them, and they're all 4 signed by Nathan and Julia. So a somewhat collegiately, academically renowned professor, doctor for Black Studies. I have 4 of his books all signed. And they are listed at, I just relisted them yesterday, actually, the 15th, today. And they're at $231. Pay like $8 total. Somebody, I'll get $180 out of them for the $4 or $5 I paid. B54. So, in a lot of eBay reseller vernacular and parlance or even jargon for that matter, another critter out there, is sell-through. I really don't go my my thinking doesn't go to sell through. I just go to sales history. Has that author, has that sold, has that title sold, has that album, CD, or tape? Oh, well, there are no 8 tracks of it, but that album does sell. My brain goes, somebody's going to want that 8 track of that album. And I got it listed for $15 and I paid 50 cents for it. Somebody, sometime, is going to want that 8 track because 8 tracks aren't made anymore. And if I'm the only one who has it listed, that lets me know that it's not really common. Somebody's going to want it. And it takes up a little more room than this phone. Sits in a drawer. That's where my brain goes. Easy work. And these are also B54. B54. And this is, I think this one's signed. So he was like a Catholic father or something who did a lot of talks back in the 60s and 70s for AA. And it's signed. So this one is $27. I've had it for a while. The book sells for maybe like $10. So it's just going to take that one person like, yeah, you know what? I'll spend $10 more to have a signed version of that. A lot of people think it's like, oh man, it's an extra $5. Like if you give it some provenance to it, you shouldn't really think like that. But like it's how many? Well, I guess for physical media it's a little different because you're not going to find a whole lot of signed Pearl Jam Eddie Vedder T-shirts from 1992, and if you do, it's easily a couple grand. The odds of you finding something like that are 1 out of a given amount of numbers. Find something signed for a CD. I've even sold a signed cassette. I forget what the hell it was now. But CDs, plenty of books. Signed DVDs. I sold signed DVD. I got a couple of signed DVDs right now from like some really, really obscure, like not even B movies, like under B movies, completely low budget. Somebody came up with 50 grand and made a movie, and it's signed. And I paid $1 for it. Somebody. Now I sound like Schwarzenegger. Get to the chopper. Somebody's going to pay money for that. Sometime. Appealing to the collector market and appealing to nostalgia. All I'm doing, I'm selling you nostalgia or a collector market idea. Same thing right here. So these are computer, Sound Blaster was a sound card that you put into your computer's motherboard way when ago. So creative, right? So you got like the Sound Blaster and the disc game back in, I don't know, 1994. So you got this in like one big box set. So someone may even have this game. Actually, these discs themselves, they'll sell pretty well as well. Somebody may already have the game, but they want that whole thing, and they want to be able to have that sound card displayed right here in the game with the open case right here, and you can see the front and the back, and the game sitting right. They have all that, and they just want to plop it somewhere. I don't know, and I don't care. I paid $1 for these. Somebody, somewhere, will pay me $20 for it. And if not, we go right back to your question, John. When do I decide that enough is enough? But something like that would go, I would have like some other computer software, some other manuals. I might find a peripheral, like a mouse or something, and just put it all in one lot and just wait for that. Just bring the price down if I needed to. B54. But that's the point, because it's not made anymore. I mean, when was the last time Sound Blaster made a sound card? When was the last time you needed a sound card? I'm thinking in the realms of scarcity. Yeah, that one should be good. B54. What was in here? B54. These two. B54. Then I've got one more box, and it's going to be a little over 2 hours. Yeah. Which is a little longer than I was thinking, because I didn't think I'd be doing this, too. But it needed done, and I was already here yammering. Yep. What are we going to do today? What are we doing today, brain? Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world. Some more pieces, parts from the plastic that I took, the things I took apart. Speaking of Cleveland artists, so these actually have the side label on here. So Ian Hunter, Ace Frehley died not too long ago. Let's see, from Kiss or something. And Ian Hunter, he just recently died as well. So he was a Cleveland-based artist who was pretty big. But look at that! Look at that crackhead. That's what I love about that stuff from the '80s. Everything from then looked like a damn Trapper Keeper. Or actually, what was put on a Trapper Keeper was emulation from the '80s. Super duper neon. Just watch Hot Tub Time Machine and you'll get the generation I'm talking about. But Ian Hunter, yeah, he died. And so I had one Ian Hunter, and then I found another one. So I just put the two together. So eventually someone will pick it up. Somebody will get to the chopper. One more box. And your stuff rattling around in there. So that's all I have for these ones. 19, but that's tucked all the way down in that corner, which is what I'm trying to avoid. Avoid the Noid. If you know who the Noid is, good for you. These are pretty interesting too. So these are field report books. So for land surveying with the level and the transit for you're trying to figure out the gradients for land, so you know on which angle or degree of inclination that you have for a road or for landscaping or for whichever. That's what these are. You keep these as your field journal. Man, when I did that a long time, and these aren't mine, I just found them in a store. Right? But when I did that a long time ago, landscaping, when I did that specifically for the guy who I worked for, I got paid pretty well. And that was that. That was 20 plus years ago. Just because that was something that I had just got done learning in my formative high school vocational classes of landscape, horticulture, greenhouse management. And it was fresh in my mind. B20. Got some lurkers. I like lurkers. I mean, that's what I do on some streams. Some I won't even, for whichever reason, I'm doing something and I just go on YouTube, and if the YouTube shows like a live is on, if it has something to deal with something I might like, I'll just hit it, say hi, and I'll just type in there, I'm lurking. And most people know that it's on in the background and I'm doing other things. Or whomever, right? B20, Global Church. B25. So if I put this right there, maybe. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's from Pineapple Express. Mm-mm. No, so no matter how I do that, really is nothing's really gonna change unless I do this. This. Take that out. Take that out. Get that. That. You could do it. That goes, and get just, you know what? I don't like that. I don't want. So I can at least put that in there and just move this book out of that. Saturn B25. Oh, this is actually, I think this is a German book too. So let's just find. So let me have to go back and try to find it. Yay! It's something else that's not showing up. Woodsley, this is San Francisco, Robert. That's not it. So I have to hand type that one. That's weird that these things aren't showing up like that. Where did I get this right there? This is another book I have right here. This one is a book called Infidel. And it's the stories and tellings of a couple of soldiers who spent some time in Afghanistan. So it's leather bound, and it's signed by the author and the protagonist. And in the book, they are buddies. It's signed by both. So the book does sell on itself. A few $100. Signed ones have sold for like $400 or $500. That's double signed, so I have it priced up there. It's going to be just that one person that's going to be like, I want that. And I'm going to be that one person who I don't know until they're like, cha-ching! Like, yep, I had it until it got sold. Okay, so that is no. That can go like that. Actually, those should be fine. Put that one like that. I actually would have thought that Scanner Darkly would have sold by now. So these two books, these are by Julia Quinn. So these specific series, if you find them all for even $50 or $100, the complete series of this exact 2021 is like $600 to $1,000. So I have a couple individuals that I've had them for a while. They will take some time. Everybody needs a little time away. I heard you say from each other. Ooh, good. I'd be lonely if that's a different song. The first one was everybody needs a little time away from each other. Ooh, hold me down. Just wanna say I'm sorry. I just want you to know. That song. What was that? Ario? No. Europe? No, I think it was Ario. We got all these people in chat. Come on, help me out. Time to retire. Oh, am I manifesting those sales? Let's see here. Let's see. No, but Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen stuff still sells. I believe that VHS is like $30. That one's actually going to wherever the person from PA, John. This one's actually going to Philly. Nowhere quite near that. Here, orders. Awaiting shipment. No, it was like $20. Oh no, that one was way less. I have another one. No, I think it's the one that I have sealed. Is this the mall one? No, this is the mall one. That's $13. And then I have another one. That's like $30 sealed. Mary Kate Ashley Olsen CDs and DVDs. Nostalgia. Ooh, no. So I'm over here and I just discussed this with. So I watch I don't know who else is listening now, but I watch a Fallout 4 builder channel. And one that I frequent. I will watch a few others that I have become accustomed to from mainly the Fallout 4 channel called Finding Mulder. And I don't know, started watching some of his stuff like maybe in the fall of last year or something. But of recent, maybe toward the end of the year, he started doing lives. And I'd stop in every once in a while, but I do stop in frequently enough. And he said something about Three Investigators, like he loved the books of the Three Investigators. And so I sent him a paperback version of a book and the lower end of the hardcovers that I have. I only got a couple more left of these. And I sent them to him because I'm a nice guy. And he said the way on how he was talking about them in his video, and he had kind of like this emphatic. I can hear the nostalgia. I can hear the excitement in his voice from otherwise 40 plus years later. He got excited talking about those. Like, I got you. So I sent him a couple books for free. Well, I didn't send them for free. It was $5 to ship them. But here, I like watching your channel. I'm not going to give you money, but I got a feeling you'll like these books more than you'll like the money. That money will get spent real fast. You can't, well, you can. People do buy nostalgia, right? That's why I'm in business. But you can spend that money as long as you don't get rid of that one thing that holds dear to you. I want to. I don't think this one might. Okay, that's good. Works for me. Well, then if it fits there, it can fit there. And you know what? I think that is the only one I have of this. Listings. Active. I don't know, maybe I'll start doing things like Sunday sorting. Where I just, stuff I list just gets put in a box and then I do stuff like this on Sundays, put stuff away. Unbeknownst to me, well, kind of, but unbeknownst to me, you know, I've gotten quite a few subs and people want to come in and ask questions. But like, I don't know. And then I explain, like, dude, that's awesome. How do I learn more? Subscribe and stick around. Stay tuned. The more you know. So this bridge can go in here. That can get tucked back like that. And that can get. This is a Nightmare Before Christmas, a limited edition Barnes and Noble book. That. Let's get this correctly done. B11. If I lose track again, well, not lose track, I just brain wanders off. Sidetracking like ADHD, but it's not. Oh, well, that's not going to be in there because this is in this box. What's in the box? So I could, if I wanted to, that like that. Might be able to get this one. Fundamentals of Logic. I just sold a Logic book. Like $40. And it's another one of those very, very specific logic and formal logic and grammar logic and stuff. Very, very specific. People want to know how words work and where they're at and why they're there. That is logic. Do I eat my spinach and Cheerios? Actually, I eat neither. So I just made myself out to be a big fat liar. Okay. BK and Promises of Power. BK 27. B27. B27. So I have this German book right here. And right there. Oh, so actually I started this video off with these, which is right here. You just can't see it. But it's a whole box set. Right? So it's this. I've got the two books. This is just an individual book. That I just listed. These, I've had these for a while too. B10. And then whatever this is, ST or SROHE. And of course, it's in that font. Zion's Leader is what it's called. Zion's Leader. Now I remember. So Zion, right? Zionism. STROHE. Nada. Zion. Something came up. Oh, that is it. All right. B25. And it's listed for $67. I've had it for a little while, but it's one of those really, really odd, off-ball, esoteric, um, foreign books, right? And sometime. And it goes right back down to that question: how long do I keep something? And if it gets down to that, this is $15 and I've had it for 3 years, it goes. But as long as it gets enough views and I can keep bringing it down. Stuff is put away a little longer in time frame than I thought, but the job is done all the same. We've had John. I mean, I don't know if anybody else is really here. We had John and Brandon come in and say hi. That's about where the conversation was. And Rod Rigoborbo font size. All right, so that's gonna finish that one up. If you like, I'm gonna keep doing these anyhow when it's fitting, so that really doesn't matter. But if you want to learn a little bit about physical media and what I look for, what I do, when I'm out and about, and you may not, if you want to get into physical media, you may not have the diversity of the thrift stores where I'm at, but the principle is still there. Look for those weird things to kind of start off with, and then you're going to spend more time in the media section. Then you're going to spend more time looking at more stuff, and then you're going to become more familiar with that stuff, and then you're going to spend less time getting more stuff. And the whole world goes round and round, round and round. Thank you.